A lot of stuff has started over a woman, and the young men not being able to process their feelings and their emotions, that heightened sense of testosterone, not being able to process. Like, I know because I couldn't process it. It just goes there, and it's just like, oh, I gotta show you I'm the man. Oh man, you saying something to my girl? Okay, okay. And then it just goes left from there.
You are now listening to Relationship Talk with Wanito.
Welcome to Relationship Talk with Wanito and Big G. What's up, Big G?
What's happening, everybody?
And so let's jump right into this. So today I want to go over a couple videos that talk in regards to relationships. The first one is from the 8 at the Table podcast.
Okay, I watch that sometimes.
I like their content for the most part. So I ran across this video earlier today, and so I wanted to share it with you and get your thoughts on it.
Roger that.
What do you guys think about when somebody can't meet your expectations?
I dropped the expectation thing because that's just a letdown, because we've all got this picture in our head.
Yeah.
And this picture of our head is never, ever going to be that way. It's clear because we've dated people, we've been single. We dated people, we've been single. Mm-hmm. And the older you get, it's kind of like how old people, they don't want a husband or wife. I just want a companion.
Right.
You know, and that's just the older you get. And expectations are just...
But they're realistic, right? Because when people don't meet your expectations, it kind of throws you off.
Are these expectations or are these express expectations?
Not to be extreme, but there was a thing that this girl, she was with her husband, and I had seen it on Reddit. They were together for a long ass time. Everything was good. They were happy, like really, really happy.
Or Reddit happy.
Yeah. And something happened at a bar, and he couldn't defend her. I mean, he tried, but he just couldn't. That she expected him to be able to defend her, and he couldn't. He's not. Doesn't make him a bad person. Right. Doesn't make him this or doesn't make him that. But he said, ever since then, there's nothing. The house is not like there's no sexual chemistry. There's nothing. So her expectation was
to have a protector.
Yeah, but that's a stupid expectation because he's not invincible.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like saying he got shot and I don't believe you let that bullet hit you.
Well, that's
how could you?
Scenario. Okay, so actually something similar was brought up in Love is Blind. There's a couple, the only black couple that made it out the pot. And he is kind of quirky, you know, and she's expressing to him her expectations in a man, in a husband, and she's maybe not in the same words, but says, I want my man to be more on the masculine side. I want him to be able to lead when I need him to lead, or, you know, just expressing her expectations. She gave him similar scenario where at the bar, we're having a good time. Some man comes up to me and says, I think you're cute. Like, can I have your number? She's like, what if I say like, yo, you don't see me with a man? Like, I got a man. What are you going to do? He's like, I'm just going to say, babe, like, let's just walk away. And she says, oh, but he grabbed me. He says, like, don't walk away from me. Like, I'm talking to you. And
so now go get shot.
He's like, I'm just going to say, come on, let's just go this way. And I was just like, really? Like, you wouldn't, he's making it a point to say he won't address the man at all. He would just keep saying, like, babe, let's go. And then he said, maybe security, come over. Honestly, I thought that part was hilarious because I understand that he was just like, I just don't want no problems. But the man addressed him 0 times in this scenario. So for him not addressing the man harassing his wife at all was a little odd, because I understand he doesn't want no problems. He probably doesn't want to get hit or anything worse. But to her, it was like my man didn't defend me or didn't stick up for me at all. Because she was like, babe, you know, like when we leave out of here, I'm going to be mad at you, right?
Be mad.
Right.
Well, can I just stop this here?
Security.
First of all, I'm so tired of making these judgment calls off of some scenario you guys create in your head. Because first of all, I take all those questions as a setup. Well, you brought it up and you believed it too.
No, because it was similar to what he said.
But I'm saying, like, first of all, there's no right answer that he could have gave her, because he could have said, "Oh, I'm going to knock him out," and she would have been like, "Well, what if he's bigger?" And then she was like, "Well, then I'd hit him harder." Like, what if he's got a gun? Like, there was no way for him to win that situation. So for her to
So stupid.
get the scenario and then make him make a judgment out of that, he wasn't going to win. And the fact that she said that she wanted a masculine man and she's making those questions towards him already says that she don't find you masculine. That she's questioning that right there.
She's problematic.
Yeah, she.
All right. So what's
My thoughts is that women don't give expectations; they give conditions. That's why, like we've said several times before in our conversations, women love conditionally. An expectation is, hey, this here is what I expect you to do. You know what I'm saying?
Don't even get into that.
She's problematic.
And with the expectations, you know what I'm saying, there's a pass or fail. Well, with women, there's really not a pass or a fail. It's either, you know, hey, you're going to do this, or I'm going to think this way about you. And that's literally what it is. It's women, to me. Not now in that scenario, and we discussed about, you know what I'm saying, how provision is, you know what I'm saying, and protection is. And you stated several times on here, protection is seeing things before it happens and saying, hey, we need to move, you know what I'm saying, move away from this stuff. To say a man is not masculine or have doubts that a man is masculine because he does not want to get in the fisticuff, that's things we did as a kid. Now, if this man is physically trying to harm you, well, yeah, I'm going to step in. But if there's any chance for me to walk away, because me now, younger me, 20s me, yeah, we probably would have, you know what I'm saying, he probably would have a ball upside his head. Me now, you know what I'm saying, who got a little bad eyesight, you know, little limp, it's not going to go that way. I'm going to remove myself, try to remove myself as far as I can from that. The man keeps coming once again, hey, try to reason with logic. You know what I'm saying? Once again, like he said, call security. If none of that fails and this man's is still, that's when we go into that only thing that men understand is the threat of violence. But before I go, I'm gonna stop at this point. Our prison cells are full of men who's trying to defend or step in when something was happening to a woman and they end up in jail. Now, there's three scenarios in which, or three, you know what I'm saying, block of people that I'm going to go that far with. There's my kids, my wife, and you know what I'm saying, and my immediate family, i.e. sisters, mother, brother, you know what I'm saying, nieces and nephews. I'm not going to get out of character for just any woman. So if we're dating and you're not my wife, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Never, ever, ever, ever going to do that. Because at that point in time, you're not under my covering. We like each other. We cool. We like to hang out. But if you're going to judge me on the fact that if I'm going to act irrationally or not, I'll let you pass and I'll move on to find me somebody else.
I think you made some fantastic points. And I think that there is a bit of expectation that women have of the men that they're choosing to be in their life, right? That in a situation where okay, let me back up a little bit. I think with certain women, there is an expectation that if a man approaches me, that you're going to step in and put yourself in between her and that man. I tend to operate like this, right? And I've been in a situation where and this was when I was, I don't know, in my early 20s. So this was close to 20 years ago. I'm at a club. Me and my girl are sitting there. Some dude, I don't know if he had been with her before or liked her or whatever. He comes over, squats down on the side of her and is talking to her. And I'm sitting there. My first thought is, hey, you, as my girl, you with me, let him know this ain't the time. I'm with my man. All right. So she failed that, right? Long story short, this was back when I was accepting a whole bunch of foolishness. Our relationship didn't last. But that's a fast forward. In the moment, she didn't say anything. Okay. Step 2 was I leaned over. I was like, excuse me, you see I'm here with my girl. Would you mind? And he backed off. I was upset with her because I'm like, yo, you should have said something. It's kind of rude. It's kind of disrespectful, right? At the moment, it wasn't a big deal. Boom, I get up, go to the bathroom. I come back. He's back. So now he disrespected me. So I was like, yo, I done already told you I'm here with my girl. Like, back up. And then at that moment, I was like, all right, let's go. Because I ain't trying to fight this dude. Right. That's one side, right? There's an expectation that I have of her that, hey, you need to step in and say something before it even gets to me.
And you're totally right. You know what I'm saying? Though, what can I say that you, as the woman, can say? If the shoes were reversed, you would want me to tell, you know what I'm saying, the chick, hey, excuse me, I'm with my lady right now. Yeah, we good over here. So my thought process is the same thing. You, I'm not gonna interject myself until it's need to be interjected. You know what I'm saying? In that scenario, you know what I'm saying? The situation with the cabin, hey, how you doing? Excuse me, I'm with my man. I don't need to talk to you. Thank you. Blah, blah, blah. All right. You know what I'm saying? Cool. I ain't got to say nothing. Now, like I said, if I would have reacted just like him after that, if something would have happened again, okay, baby, we need to leave. Obviously, this is not the place for us. Individuals here does not respect boundaries. Let's get up and go. And
now in the scenario where she was discussing and she's like, he grabbed me by my arm, then obviously it's the same situation, right? I'm stepping in like, yo, she said,
I'm not. I wouldn't even address him. I step in, grab her. Excuse me, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, and it's like, excuse me. She said, please don't touch her. And then it's like, hey, babe, let's just go, because I ain't trying. Here's the thing that I think where the woman has to be, and it's on the man as well. The woman has to be willing in that moment to understand that there is no need to fight.
Yes.
If your thought process is that I, as your man, need to fight this guy, you got a problem. As the woman, you are immature. You need to grow up, get your stuff together. Ask yourself, why is my thought process that he needs to fight? Second thing is, if your first thought process isn't, you know what, babe, hey, look, if you see me reacting like, you know, showing any sort of aggression, why is it your thought process, you know what, babe, let's just go? Why?
Yeah.
You know, because I think women need to understand that when men have confrontation with each other, that it's always a threat of violence in
Yes.
those moments. And whether or not you can beat this person or not, you don't know what they have on them or who they got with them. You don't
Yes.
know to what level it could escalate, because I've seen this. You're out at a club, they start fighting in the club, a brawl, they get kicked out, a brawl breaks out outside, and then they start shooting or somebody gets stabbed. And so it goes beyond just that little bit of confrontation that you're having in those moments.
Yeah.
And going back to what I said from one of our previous talks, is that protection also is having the foresight and the understanding that, you know what, we don't need to be in this situation. We don't know what are the potential things that happen if this were to escalate. So it's just easy. It's just better to remove ourselves, because nothing in these particular situations are worth us potentially putting our lives or each other in danger.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you as your woman, the woman should understand, I need my man there to especially if you got kids, help take care of my kid. These all things should be going through here. What if something happened, he slips and falls and he's paralyzed? You know what I'm saying? There's a whole plethora of things that can go wrong in a situation. Now, this is mature me now talking. You know what I'm saying? This is mature me talking. I've been in a couple, you know what I'm saying, fisticuffs in a club setting before. But this is me now knowing that it's really not for me. It's for the individual in the situation, because I know who I am inside. And when I am in that heightened state of testosterone, I don't process things well. You know what I'm saying? Things going through my head is pick up the nearest thing next to me. You know what I'm saying? That's a deadly weapon. Now I got 5 years or something. But my only thing, my only thing is going through my head. I'm going to make it home to take care of my baby girl. So it don't matter what's going to happen. I'm that person that might have a knife. Yeah. That's me. That's who I am. So I had to calm myself down and understand, hey, you're a grown man. A grown man shouldn't be acting like this. Now, like I said, this was in my 20s. And my first, and that would have been my first stop. We finna fight. I have to fight. I got to show you why they call me Big G. You ain't finna be sitting around here doing anything. But then actually talking to my old heads, and they say, dude, you go away for 3 or 4 years. You think she gonna be there for you? I'm not saying she will or she won't, but these are just things that these old heads was talking to me about. They said you gotta be a thinking man, and they the ones to explain to me. They were like, man, these are jails are full of individuals where women. I go home and get my brother. Do you know a lot of stuff that happens in these inner cities relate back to women? Think about it, Juan. A lot of these stuff that happens, you relate back. Is they talking to another woman? She's saying this and she's saying that. Like, I don't know if you saw early up in the summer. It was out of Chicago. This guy, he was talking. They was at a gas station in Chicago. Guy comes up. The girl's looking good. He was talking to him, and this captured all on camera. He was talking to her. So he She said something back to him. He was like, okay, blah, blah, blah. Guy gets out the car. He says something. He was like, hey, my bad, dog. Guy shoots him.
That's
And
wild.
that's wild.
That's wild. I mean, I can understand if in that particular scenario if the guy was being disrespectful, but in the moment where he's like, my bad, like you as a guy need to understand, okay, boom, the threat level went down. Let me retreat, you know. And yes, I understand that many of men have went away when they have let a woman in their life who they're naturally emotional. They're operating in a heightened state of emotion and they match their emotional state and they get involved in these situations and are not thinking about the potential consequences or the things that they're not thinking beyond what they're seeing in front of them, which is oftentimes red, and they're operating from that standpoint of anger, and they get themselves in these situations and then they get themselves locked up and go away. And I've not personally seen that like in my own personal life or in my own circle, but I have heard stories and seen different articles and things on the news in in regards to that. So let me ask you this question. So they were talking about expectations, right? And obviously their expectation they were talking about how women have expectations of that in these particular situations men are supposed to just stand up for them and step in and show strength and all of these different things. I kind of want to shift gears a little bit, but sticking with the topic of expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And you could share with me your own experience, I'll tell you from my own experience. When it comes to dating, right? And I'm talking about the beginning stages of dating. Like you meet a girl, you kind of rizz her up a little bit, you get the digits, you get the Instagram, and you're setting up a date, and things go well with your first date and you get to a second date or a third date or so on.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that the conversation about the expectations that people are having of dating isn't being had? So let me explain to you what I mean. So when I was dating, my goal always was long-term relationship. My goal was always looking for somebody for marriage because I was a relationship guy and my goal was always marriage. But I could also think back to the times when I was dating. That question was never asked of me. Like, what are you expecting from a relationship or during dating? So my question is, why do you think that conversation is had?
Out of fear from the man's side. We
Well, I
don't.
mean, from the man or woman side,
Okay,
and
yeah,
or
yeah. Okay. Well, from the man's side, is out of fear, especially if she's a very attractive woman. Yeah, and by hearing the conversation, you hearing how she's speaking and the tone. So you don't want you're trying to get the date number two. So you don't want to mess nothing up. Date number three, you don't want to mess nothing up because the view of her has clouded your judgment. I can't mess nothing up. Uh, I believe from a female aspect, and this is only, I'm saying, a belief, um, it's the confidence. I know I'm going to get what I want. If I don't get what I want, there's not going to be no date one or date two. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where
explain to me what you mean.
okay, a woman internally knows what she's expecting. All right, so she's internally. All right, she knows, and it's one of those things where I'm in the control seat. So I don't really have to tell you my expectations. I'm going to sit back and see if you meet them or not. And that's how I'm going to categorize you. I'm gonna put you in the friend zone. You're gonna be the guy that take me to lunch. You're gonna put this by you not knowing, because I'm not saying it's a game, but it's more line of how I believe they vet. I'm not gonna tell you my expectations because I want to see if you systematically, you know what I'm saying, hit each one, hit each tier, and that's gonna let me know if you're here for me. You are the so-called right one. If they feel like if they tell you, you're going to try to, you know what I'm saying, be that, and that's not the real you.
So I get where you're going. My question, well, it's not really a question, but my thought process is, I think that's part of the reason why so many people, and particularly women, because women are, they're having more relationships with men than men are with women. They're getting into these relationships that don't really end up going anywhere. They end up in, dead end relationships or situationships, because the reality of it is that they really want relationship. They're looking for something long term, but as you stated, they're not saying anything. They're not asking the question of the guy, what are you wanting to get out of what are you wanting by you coming after me, you pursuing me, what are you hoping to get? They're getting into relationships that aren't aligned. Like, this guy wants something casual, but deep inside she wants a long-term relationship, because deep in the back of her mind she knows she wants to one day get married and have kids. And she gets into but he knows that he wants the box. And so the standard,
what I was saying.
Yeah, the standard. So her standard hasn't been set. And so she gets into a relationship with this dude. It ends up not going anywhere. They call it off. She becomes jaded because 9 out of 10 times that relationship was toxic in some form or fashion. He end up being labeled a narcissist because he only is thinking about himself, which clearly from the beginning, that's all he wanted from the beginning.
Yeah.
Which, kind of dives into those red flags that we were talking about last episode, or the episode before that. So do you think that because these people aren't these men and women aren't having these conversations, that they wind up jaded and they end up causing more damage to one another? And then, 5, 6, 7 relationships down the road, you're like, all men are trash, and now you don't want a relationship at all?
I see it as the scale thing. You know what I'm saying? The scale thing. I see men and women who are in their attractive scales, 5s and 5s and 6s and 6, or you and your attractive scales, who are together. They have these conversations. All right. But these situations to where these conversations are not happening, these are these imbalanced scales. You have a woman who's a 6, but she's talking to, or she's chasing after, or caught, whatever, you know what I'm saying, with this 8 or 9 guy, you know what I'm saying, and that alone, she should understand. But she want this guy to be the relationship guy. Well, like you say, he's not turning down the box. So he's going to play on that emotional string of, and you could have a chance. She don't want to mess it up because, oh, he's so handsome, he's this, he's got this, he's got this. I don't really want to mess it up by telling him everything that I want. So I'm just gonna slide into it and drop little subtle hits along the way. Well, why? And that's what happens. That's literally what happens. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to play it out to get the boss. Okay, what you want me to do? You want me to, you know what I'm saying, do this here? All right, because the 9 and 10 women that he's at his level, they know that they're beautiful, so they trying to play the game of being you know what I'm saying, to milk you out your money. So he's not even trying to deal with that too much because he's like, I just come down here and mess around. And so that's how it's not. These conversations are not happening. But where everything is equally yoked at, they're having these conversations. What you expect? Man, I'm expecting to be a family man. I want to have me a wife. I want to take care of my kids. I want to do this here and I want to do this. What you expecting? She says, hey, I want to further my education. I want to blah, blah, blahs. And this is just, you know what I'm saying? They are having those conversations. And those tends to be the ones that end up in marriage and have longevity.
So let me ask you this question, and I'm interested to get your thoughts because I was actually thinking about this. This question came up from a video I was watching earlier today. I forgot to send it to myself, so I can't remember where I saw it at.
Oh, that happens.
What do you think would happen if, let's say, a guy like myself, a smooth 4.5 on the handsome scale, but you know, a good 7, 8, 9 on the everything else scale, is having, you know, is out on a date with a woman that is clearly out of my range, right? And let's just say hypothetically, she asked the question of, you know, what are you looking for? And I said, well, to be honest with you, you know, what I'm looking for is a long-term relationship with somebody that I could build a future with and eventually become a husband and a father. Let's say hypothetically. What do you think the response would be to that question?
In today's market, well, one, I'm not really looking for that. I'm just looking, you know what I'm saying, to go out and date and see where things takes me. I'm not really ready to settle down right now. That's how that conversation is gonna go.
And you know what? It's funny because I was actually thinking about that today, and I was like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't to that extent, but it was damn near almost word for word, you know, in my mind, how I thought that a conversation like that would go. And, you know, the thing is, it kind of made me think about the fact that I've had these conversations with women that had friend zoned me. And they would say things to me like, oh, you're such a great guy. You're gonna make some woman a very lucky man, and she's gonna be so fortunate to have you. Now, granted, this was like years ago, back when, you know, I was in high school or in my early adulthood. You're gonna make somebody a great husband and a great father. Literally, like months later or weeks later, we're having conversations. It's just like, all men ain't shit. You know, these niggas out here ain't worth a pot to piss in. And I look at them like, it ain't all men. Oh, I ain't talking about you. And you know, that used to bother me. Right? Yeah. It used to bother me to the point to where, like, whenever I would go out on dates with girls, and you know, like, there were a few times I would say maybe that, like, not necessarily what you want, what are you looking for a relationship, but you kind of know, if you have any sort of thought process or any sort of intelligence, you can kind of figure out what they're trying to hint around.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just wouldn't really necessarily say anything because it's like you get traumatized by the fact that all these girls that you as a guy know would be excellent wives, excellent mothers, excellent girlfriends. They ain't paying you not no bit of mind because it ain't even what they really want. But it is what they want. They just don't want it with you.
Boy.
But then 20 years later,
say
they by themselves. They by themselves. Ain't got nobody.
Nobody.
And so the reason why I bring this conversation up is because I'm always thinking about how do we improve the relationships that with people in general. I'm married, so I got a relationship, but there's a lot of people out there that they want to get into relationships. Men are scared to get into relationships because, of the expectations that women have. Women are scared to get into relationships because they think all men are dogs, but the right questions aren't being asked when you're out on these dates with people so that you can, number one, if you ask a man, hey, what do you want?
These women are telling, you know what I'm saying, genuine guys that when they get in the room with of guys of high caliber, but they feel like they should have, they're not moving like that. They're moving in a manner to where, oh, this is how they become used because they totally give in. And then they come back down to the people in they visual level and they complain. They're not complaining about a guy like you. Like I'm saying, I'm a mid-tier guy myself. Like I'm saying, 6'7". I'm a mid-tier guy.
You're not mid-tier, bro. You're 6'7". 6'7". I hate that damn saying.
Yeah, that's just whack. But they come down. They come down and complain. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like I had a young lady that I had a crush on. We're just going to use her initial, KC. I'm talking about this was from like middle school. You know what I'm saying? And just she used to periodically jump in and out of my life. You know what I'm saying? I was just in awe with her. So, but she'd get in a relationship with other guys, come back down and talk to me. So, you know what I'm saying? In our 30s, we was communicating and talking. And you know what I'm saying? I asked a question one time. Well, damn, what's up? Why? You know what I'm saying? Why? Why? She told me, these ain't her exact words, but this is how I took it. Okay? I can't remember her exact words verbatim, but this is how I took it. You know what I'm saying? You not no Idris Elba. I said,
oh wow. Not the Idris Elba.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not no Idris Elba. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a fly Malik Yoba. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So this, you know what I'm saying? So this was a while back. So Malik Yoba when he was still popping. You know what I'm saying? But she said it to me. She basically told me in her words that she feels like she's supposed to have this. I was like, cool, understandable. I got you. You supposed to have that. But, it didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? And so now I sit back and I look and I think to myself, yeah, I dodged the bullet. Because those individuals right there, like you want, I'm a relation guy, relationship guy too. You know what I'm saying? I've done, but I don't really excel in, these short runs. You know what I'm saying? Was with my ex-wife. We dated for 2.5 years. We was married for 14 years. So that was 17 years. After that, had a 2.5 year run with this young lady. Boom, after that. Then from that point on, 11 years. So it's like, yeah, I don't do the short term stuff either, because I want almost like the security of having somebody. I know, and I tell women I'm hard to love. I know I am, and it's crazy because of the environment that I grew up in. Um, my I didn't have a loving relationship with my mother myself. It wasn't one of those. She ruled with an iron fist. And it wasn't too many days. You gotta, I love you, or come here, come sit on, mama. Let's talk. Let's do all that. So I don't have those romantic cues. You know what I'm saying? That those loving cues in a relationship. And so getting with women who do that, it's kind of hard because they think that that's something that I am not capable of giving. I just don't. You know, until this day, I just don't know how, because I never had that. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't a thing in my household. So the cuddling with me don't last long, because it gets to feeling a little, you in my space. You know what I'm saying? So I can't sit there and hold you for those 30 and 40 minutes. You probably get 2 or 3, maybe 10. Then it's, you know, and that because I never had that. I didn't know what that was. And so when it comes to me, that's where a lot of my, you know what I'm saying, past, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't a thing, but that was one of those, one of those blocks where you put over here, this is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, it's we those conversations, they are not being had at the level that they should be had at. Because like I told you when you first asked me about it, it's that fear on one side, and it's that confidence that's being masqueraded from fear. Because of what, you know what I'm saying? Because the woman is not having with her equal. She's having that conversation, or trying to have that conversation with this guy. If the guy's her visual equal, it's not going to be a conversation. It's going to be like, here's what I want. And those are conversations they have with men after being up here, and they feel like men are trash, and they don't meet them, and all they want to do is just sleep around and don't want to commit. So then when they come back down to here, it's confidence. And I'm telling you, this is what I'm going to have. And if you can't, I don't need you in my life. I done had all this other stuff and blah, 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 blah. Well, it's just like, well, damn, I'm not that. You know what I'm saying? So they get the softer you, and they get the pleasurable you, they get the, oh, okay, the agreeable you, but you come down here with me, I get the dictator.
Yeah, it's because it's operating from a place of trauma, and the thing is that we as men are also guilty of it. Operating from a place of trauma, like you said, your situation dealing with your mom, and how you were brought up, and how your interactions and your relationship was with her affects your ability to it affects the way that you are in relationships to this day. And so, and then I would probably believe that at some point you've probably been done wrong by some women, that affected your way of how your inability to love, or maybe get really close to a woman. Because I know for sure that, and it's taken me it took me a while to move past the hurt and trauma that I experienced from many relationships that I got myself in. And not all of it was their fault. some of it was my fault because of my eagerness to be in relationships.
Yeah.
Kind of made me to look past red flags when they were quite evident, or maybe look past the fact that she didn't really like me, chasing after the most gorgeous girl that I think I could lay my eyes on, that would be willing to entertain a relationship with me. But turns out that she's in a relationship with me because I'm somewhat popular, or maybe because my sister's popular and she wants to get close to her, or that, other stupid small things like, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but whatever the reasons were, you know, because of who I was as a person and always being a relationship person, I took those situations personal. And so that affected the way that I viewed women, and the way that I treated some of them. And so, we're operating from a place of trauma. They're operating from a place of trauma, and so they're getting into these relationships, and there's an inability to really connect with one another because, first off, communication and expectations weren't set from the beginning, kind of figuring out whether you wanted casual relationship, with the intent to marry. None of those conversations are being had. There's trauma from, previous relationships, previous experiences, and everybody's so quick to jump into relationships. Oh, well, two things. They're so quick to jump into relationships, and they be treating relationships like they married.
Yeah.
Instead of understanding that dating is simply me trying to figure out if I like you enough to want to marry you. That's all dating is. Boyfriend and girlfriend is not really a thing. In reality, it's not really a thing. It's dating to figure out if I like you, and then figuring out if I like you, if I can turn like into love. And then if you can turn like into love, then the next progression is engagement and marriage. Once you get to engagement, you're essentially married, but you're waiting on a date. That's how you should be treating it. You should be treating it like, I'm married, I'm off the books. I'm just waiting for my wedding date, or for us to go down to the courthouse like, some of us cheap folks. And so I think, because I think a lot of people are treating boyfriend and girlfriend like it's marriage. Like, I have to stay with you for the rest of my life. When in all actually, it ain't even. It's not really that serious.
It's not.
But Big G is getting a little late.
It's getting late in the evening, baby.
Yeah. So, all right, man. We're gonna call it a night. Big G, where can they find you?
Instagram, Wise and Smart 22. Thank you to the 25 new followers I got within this month of us doing this. People have been saying they like my isms that I got. I finished up the isms today for about religion and Christianity. Next week we start about love, and I think I might bring you on to that one. First one for next week, and going live on Instagram, and so we can get that one. It's about, the first one is going to be talking about men. You can't love until you love yourself, and we're going to talk about loving ourselves.
Okay, I can dig it. Well, again, that's Wise and Smart 22 on Instagram. Make sure that you guys go follow Big G on Instagram, and if you're gonna follow him, make sure you hit him up in the DM and let him know where you found him, so he can make sure that he adds you. And for me, if you guys want to reach out to me, it's the Personal Alignment Lab on Instagram and www.personalalignmentlab.com if you want coaching services. Last but not least, the book is available on Amazon, Align Love, the modern guide to finding and building fulfilling relationships. This is a tool for my single folks, my folks on the dating scene, my folks just getting out of a divorce and trying to figure out how to get back into the dating scene. It's a book that's got some tools, some guidance, and some exercises for you to help you better position yourself so that you can find somebody who better fits for you. And with that being said, Big G, have a good night. And tell everybody, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And go hit Big G up on Instagram.
Oh, and share. Don't forget to share.
Yeah, y'all got to share that too.
Gotta share.
All right, man. Good night. Have a good one.
Have a good one, brother.